Hello, friends. The 857 days of the war between Russia and Ukraine continues. Yesterday, the Russian Defense Ministry announced the capture of Rozdilivka in the Donetsk region. This village is located north of Soledar in the direction of Siversk. Ukraine has not confirmed the loss of the village. The Ukrainian military telegram channel Deep State reported on the advance of Russians in the direction of this village on June 13 to 14. Now, on the resource map, it is almost entirely in the gray zone. The spokesman of the Kortitsia group Voloshin said the day before that the Ukrainian armed forces had completely driven the Russians out of the Canal micro-district in Chasiv Yar on the Bakhmut section. This is the easternmost district of the city, located behind the Siversky Donetsk-Donbas Canal. At the same time, Deep State denies information about the complete liberation of the Canal district. The Telegram channel reports that Russia still controls part of this micro-district in the east of the city. A request to speakers: do not spread unverified information that is far from the truth, and before making any statement, log into the situational awareness system and check what is actually happening, Deep State wrote. Also yesterday, the Ukrainian side reported the advancement of Russians north of the Canal micro-district in the Orlova Tract. Today, the Ukrainian armed forces attacked an enemy sabotage and reconnaissance group already at the Siversky Donetsk-Donbas Canal. Today, the Russian Defense Ministry announced that it had taken control of the settlement of Shumy in the Toretsk area. Ukraine has not officially confirmed this, but both Ukrainian and Russian military telegram channels wrote about the capture of the settlement by Russians last week. Meanwhile, a map from the Ukrainian telegram channel Deep State indicates that the enemy has captured part of the village of Yevhenii and is advancing toward the road that leads to New York from the north. The General Staff reported in its latest report that there were 15 attacks by Russian troops in the Toretsk direction, 14 were repelled, and 1 is still ongoing. The enemy has advanced in the village of Yevhenii and on the outskirts in an area up to 1.65 kilometers wide and up to 2.3 kilometers deep. In turn, Russian telegram channels claim that their troops have entered the southern outskirts of New York. This has not been confirmed in Ukraine. Judging by the Deep State map, the southern end of the village, which is a large fortified area of the Ukrainian armed forces, has been in the gray zone for several weeks. New York is also being actively bombed. Meanwhile, Deutsche Welle writes that Toretsk is running out of water and humanitarian aid is no longer being delivered there due to increased shelling from Russia. According to the publication, local residents are being asked to leave before it is too late. Meanwhile, a Ukrainian officer with the call sign Alex predicts that the Russians will seize Krasnohorovka. Things are bad in Krasnohorovka. The enemy is advancing house by house in the private sector. There is currently hellish fighting in this area. Our units are very depleted, he wrote, adding that the main part of the city is already controlled by the Russian army. He cannot understand why the information field pays little attention to the defense of Krasnohorovka, as it was around Bakhmut, Avdiivka, or now around Chasiv Yar. The guys have been defending Krasnohorovka for 6 months now. Heavy fighting has been going on in urban areas for 6 months, but there is no proper mention of this, Alex said. Judging by the Deep State map, only the northern part of Krasnohorovka remains under the full control of the Ukrainian armed forces. The rest is either under Russian control or in the gray zone. Alex also notes that Russian troops are increasing their attacks in the area of Karlivka in the Pokrovsk direction. They are trying to quickly capture the village, so the pace of military action there is frantic. Unfortunately, the enemy is making progress, but the guys are still holding their positions, the serviceman said. According to him, the common problem for the entire front is sending the most combat-ready units of the Ukrainian army to the north of the Kharkiv region. The Russians, he believes, have completed 100% the task of pulling back part of the Ukrainian reserves from Donbas, so that we cannot stabilize the situation, Alex believes that this situation is advantageous for Russia despite the counterattacks of the Ukrainian armed forces near Lipsy. Meanwhile, the fate of the entire Donbas is being decided right now, and this is no exaggeration. The enemy, having pulled back some of our reserves, continues to develop its successes in the direction of Kurahovy and Pokrovsk, has launched an offensive on Toretsk, and is non-stop storming Chasiv Yar. The guys there are really having a hard time in the Kurahovy and Pokrovsk directions, Alex added. Friends, this channel exists solely thanks to your support. If you have the opportunity and desire to support the channel, I will be very grateful to you. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.